What do we know about Lamar's availability this weekend?
Laura, it's 38 days now since Lamar Jackson was injured and no practice again today. This was always going to be a telltale day that would tell you a lot about whether or not he would be playing on Sunday night. The fact that he's not out there at practice at the start of the week tells you that this is tracking for Lamar Jackson not to play on Sunday night against the Bengals and for him to miss his sixth straight game. Certainly doesn't look like they'll have Lamar, and then the question becomes, will they even have Tyler Huntley, who's been battling shoulder tendonitis and wasn't throwing at practice today either, which would leave them back in the situation that they were in last week when they played in Cincinnati and the Baltimore Ravens had to turn to Anthony Brown to start. That's right now a prospect that certainly seems very real. We don't think that Lamar will be ready in time for Sunday night. It's been a week where there were people initially who thought, yeah, he's going to have a strong chance. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I think he'll play. Heard a lot of different things leading into the weekend. And I think now, as the week has gone on and he's not practicing, I think it's crystallizing that he's not on track to play Sunday night.
Yeah, when Harbaugh was talking about it today in his press conference, he said, I have nothing to add. I think that also speaks to the situation that Adam's illustrating here. So Lamar, of course, still waiting on that long-term deal, right? But another Raven cashed in this week. Adam, what can you tell us about Roquan Smith's?
Well, Laura, the Ravens announced an extension today, a 5-year extension with Roquan Smith, their linebacker. And what's significant about this deal is that they not only keep one of the top tacklers and defenders in the National Football League, but they also now have the ability to go out and use the franchise tag if they want on Lamar Jackson, because Roquan Smith is under contract. They don't have to worry about losing him this offseason. He's contractually tied to Baltimore, and now they have the tag available for Lamar Jackson if the two sides cannot work out the long-term contract that they struggled here the last couple of years to get done. Lamar's going to be a free agent. The tag is available by way of this agreement with Roquan Smith.
Man, it's interesting. For those wondering, hey, Lamar Jackson doesn't have an agent. How's all that going to get shaken out? Well, Roquan Smith doesn't have an agent either, and he was able to reach this deal thanks to Adam. More from him coming. All right, so since Roquan Smith made his Ravens debut in Week 9, Baltimore's defense has held their opponents to 14.7 points per game. Second best in the NFL, trailing only the 49ers, the best defense in the league. They've also gone from ranking bottom 10 in yards per game allowed to top 3 in that category. Let's go, Roquan. They're like, yeah, let's pay you. You're making a big difference. Okay, so with Lamar's status still up in the air, seems like the pressure's going to be on this defense Sunday night against Cincinnati, and that's a hard task. But, Key, what do they need to do?
Well, Swagoo knows as a defensive player, the first thing you do is you find the snake and you cut the head off, and that would be Jamar Chase. You shut him completely down. You double him. You don't allow him to get that offense going. We saw the Cincinnati Bengals offense at times without him in the lineup. A little bit different. Once he got back into the lineup, it became a very explosive offense. Then you press T. Higgins at the line of scrimmage. You make him play big boy football. Then you go after Tyler Boyd. If Tyler Boyd can beat you all alone by himself with Joe Burrow, then so be it. But if you think about this Ravens defense, they beat them earlier in the year without Roquan Smith in the lineup. Now they have one of the highest paid linebackers in NFL history on their side.
Well, looking at that graphic that you had up makes me more angry that Lamar's not playing, because they would have a legit chance. Very simply, if the Cincinnati Bengals don't turn the football over, the Ravens have no shot to win this game. They're too good of a team to go against. Now, defensively, how do the Ravens go about somewhat trying to slow down this offense? Number one, you have to live in two high quarters type of shell. But be aware that Joe in this offense is going to take their shots downfield. This is just a little underthrown by him last week. I think the second thing is understanding that the right side of Cincinnati's offensive line is new. We talked about that yesterday. Attack it. Force those guys to communicate. Force those guys to pass things off. Force those guys to make sure that they're on the same level on a consistent basis. And this defense that Baltimore runs has those blitz packages. If I was Cincinnati, I would be sitting there going, what are you going to do to our right side? That's the only shot. I hate when analysts sit there and say, well, they don't turn the football, because I think we have to be better than that. But it's very simply in this game. If Joe Burrow don't give the ball away, there's no shot Baltimore wins this game.
I'm with you. And listen, the reverse of that is I was going to say Baltimore Ravens got to turn the football over and score on defense. Like we talking about
defense has to score.
Yeah, defense has to score. Just playing good enough defense, I still don't believe that will be enough. And they played. That was a solid game that they played against Joe in Cincinnati a couple weeks ago, last week when we saw them in the first game, obviously. And they got a bit healthier defensively as well. But when you look at Cincinnati, man, I think this game really boils down to Joe Burrow's maturity.
Yeah.
All right. If I thought Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals were going to come out there every other down and try to hit a bomb to Jamar Chase and be reckless, we would be having a different conversation. Chase was targeted 13 times in this game, right? And that was favorable matchups. But ultimately, if the check down, like you're talking about the line of scrimmage, check it down. He's been doing it all season long.
Here's some hope for Ravens fans. During the regular season, Joe Burrow has just 3 games with a QBR below 40. 2 of them are against the Ravens, okay? So there you go.
Look at you.
Baltimore, let's go. All right, we're just getting started here on NFL Live. The Giants take on the Vikings in a rematch of the ruled out of Sunday's game against the Bills. We got a live report from Miami as we discuss the Dolphins' QB reality this offseason. Speaking of quarterback health, what's the latest on Lamar? Well, the Ravens quarterback, his status is coming your way ahead of their game against the Bengals. It's just about 8 minutes away. We'll hear from Adam Schefter on that. Far more important, though, than all of this is the improving condition of Damar Hamlin. That's where we start today, as Hamlin has been discharged from a hospital in Buffalo. Coley Harvey's been covering the story for the last 10 days here. Coley, what's the latest?
Well, the latest, Laura, is that just a short time ago, I had a chance to speak with one of Damar Hamlin's relatives. They are, quote, ecstatic about this news. They are so rejoicing about this news. The fact that he is finally not just out of one hospital, the University of Cincinnati Medical Center, but now the second hospital, Buffalo General Medical Center. And the relative who I spoke to earlier, that relative said that they were certainly trying to wait until they got to this stage because there was that uncertainty after having to switch one hospital and going to the other. Just what was that going to look like for his recovery? But now he is fully out. He is at home, and he is resting, as we've heard even from some of the Bills players say here today. They're going to try to be patient in terms of trying to go over and see him. One thing that I do want to note is you see this plaza here behind me at Highmark Stadium. Exactly 1 week ago, there was a candlelight vigil for Damar Hamlin. You had fans coming all throughout here in order to lift him up in prayer, to try to get the positive vibes, to get him out of the hospital. What a difference a week makes. While we've been out here setting up this live shot, I've even seen one of these remnants, a fan that says the number 3 with the heart. You're going to see so many of these on Sunday when this place gets full and rocking, because not only is it a playoff game, as you guys well know, but they're going to be playing for Damar Hamlin as well here.
Coley, it's just such incredible news. Great reporting from you. And we can get excited about this, guys. We're glad to have you here. Marcus Spears, Dan Orlovsky with you for the hour.
Good to have you back.
I missed y'all.
Yes.
But
You crushed your college football national title stuff, but we love Babyface.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. I'm also so incredibly glad, as all of us are, that Damar Hamlin's making such great progress.
I mean, it's the best news of the NFL world. Probably the best news
Ever.
of the year. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Amazing.
Keyshawn Johnson and Adam Schefter joining us today as well. Let's get to Tua Tagovailoa, some news there. And let me start with this, right? The Dolphins 8-4 in games that Tua has finished. They're 1-4 without him. Tua has suffered 3 head injuries this season, 2 officially classified as concussions by the NFL. He hadn't played since the concussion he suffered against the Packers on Christmas Day. Some wondered if we'd see him this week against Buffalo. Here's more from Mike McDaniel.
Of today, Tua has not been cleared by doctors to resume football activities on the field with his teammates. So, because of that and because of the time that he's missed, I can rule him out for Sunday. We will be approaching the game today as Skylar Thompson as our starting quarterback.
ESPN Dolphins reporter we're going to Adam Schefter with more here. So, Adam, what can you tell us? Actually, we're going to go to Marcel. Marcel, Adam's coming. Marcel first. Marcel Louis-Jacques has been at the facility all day. Marcel, what did the team have to say about the Tua news?
Oh, it looked pretty out there.
Yeah, it's appearance number 7 and start number 3 for the Dolphins rookie Skylar Thompson, and half of those have come in relief of a starter who was injured mid-game. Dolphins coach Mike McDaniel said he doesn't think people appreciate the gravity of what Thompson was able to accomplish relying on solo or scout team and preseason reps before Sunday's regular season finale. We got to speak to Skylar Thompson in the locker room. He said that every snap he takes, he gets more and more confident. And that, of course, he wants to be perfect. That's what everybody wants to do in this position. But he went back to something his college coach told him. Colin Klein, the quarterback coach at Kansas State, your best is enough. Now, the team believes in him, and Thompson's actually got a support system that's going to go beyond the sideline Sunday at Highmark Stadium. He said his dad is going to make the 15-hour drive from Kansas City to Buffalo to see his son make his first playoff start. A lot of emotions going to be at that stadium in Western New York.
Yeah, those 15 hours.